What is up, everybody? It is Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Wow. It seems foreign here because I haven't been on the Morning Vibe for a week. So last Friday was our last show for that week. But again, we did a replay on Thanksgiving on Monday. For those who celebrate, thank you so much for watching the replay. And I hope you had some downtime in regards to the Morning Vibe and just family. But it's been a short but positive, productive week for myself. For those who are saying, where's Ryan? Where's Ryan? Ryan is walking his kids to school, so he'll be joining us momentarily. Want to say hello for people who are chiming in from wherever you are. If you're watching live, say hello. Tell us where you're chiming in from. We're looking forward to it. So we have another, well, not a new friend to myself and Ryan, and maybe a new friend for you on today's Morning Vibe. But we've got a number of things to catch up on, because when the Morning Vibe isn't on for a while, we're still doing stuff in the background to make it happen for you so you enjoy the content we have here. So let's get some things down. Let me just see who's shouting in first and foremost. All right, Fitness IQ Cam, otherwise known as KS EYL FW. No. RWFQ. Got it right. Hadn't said it for a while because haven't been on for a while. So good morning to you as always. Okay. And she says, happy Friday the 13th. I didn't even think about that. Interesting. Do people still believe in this Friday the 13th business? Check in. Tell us what you believe. All right. So let's get to some stuff. As always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. For those of you who've done that, thank you so much. Appreciate it, not taken for granted. Also, follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Also, too, to advertise your business, product, or service on our show, please email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. Also, join the Morning Vibe Discord group. That's where we keep on conversations in between shows on Discord. I know a number of you have, but never enough. And I'm going to be putting up something I'm going to be talking about in a few moments in our Discord group. So you'll say, man, I don't want to watch the repeat. Oh, I got to do this. And I'll just be in the Discord room. So I'll put that up for those who are interested. So program alerts, a number of things coming up on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel over the next week or so. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. First of all, tomorrow night, live at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and Lala. They do it and give commentary on state of things in America like no other, especially three ladies, and especially like no other. So they're going to be on tomorrow night live at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And definitely two of the subjects they've been saying on Instagram and in Twitter, check it out. They'll do it like no other. Actually, I had one of my former video editors. I spoke with them last night. He says, I missed that show. I got so educated because it's a state of things from a citizen's point of view, not a politician's or news person's point of view. So definitely check that tomorrow night. Then this Sunday, we have Black Canada Talking, which is a live online conversation I do sometimes by myself, sometimes, well, in this case, Cesar Nadima Musa, where Cesar gives his slant or take on different things that are going on inside Canada, outside Canada from a Black Canadian perspective. And then Monday, We have her on every month for the next month or two. We have Carolyn Nicole from Energy Shack Juice Bar, and she's going to be talking about the diabetic pandemic. And you can watch this where you're watching the show now. That's where you can watch it. That's where you can watch it. So check that out. Last time Carolyn was on, a number of people have now become clients of hers in regards to improving their health, improving nutrition. There is a lady who's a regular who watches this show. I'm not going to give her name. I was in Energy Shack Juice Bar the other day, and she came in with her whole family and have become clients with Carolyn. So, one of the things I always say, your health is your wealth. And especially in the Black environment, health is a lot of concerns. Things like diabetes, heart attack, stroke, things like that. That is very prevalent. So check out Monday's conversation or last month's conversation. She is offering a special for those who want to get a half-hour consultation. You know what? Let me just put it up real quickly. Oh, here we go. So special offer consultation with the nutritionist, which is Carolyn, $49 instead of $110 when you mention the Morning Vibe or Dr. Vibe. So email Carolyn at info@Energy Shack Juice Bar. All right. Promos haven't stopped. Almost finished. Almost a lot of things going down with the Dr. Vibe show. And then this coming Wednesday, Dr. Alicia Watkins is going to be talking about trauma and the Black family. And Dr. Alicia, as whenever she comes on, she just lays it down. For those who don't know who Dr. Alicia Watkins is, you may or may not have heard of a gentleman named Dr. Boyce Watkins. That is his wife, and she has her PhD in social work. She's a certified trauma counselor, and she has been counseling Black couples for the last 15 years. And whenever she comes on the program, she lights it up. So, as I said, you didn't see me live for a week, but I haven't been lazy. I've been positive, productive. So, all those things. Now, the biggest thing I want to chat about, some of you may or may not know that I'm a really big proponent in regards to sponsorships. I love sponsorships. And nothing against loans and grants, but they can be very, very challenging. So I've been blessed to have a sponsorship relationship with a worldwide brand, Dove Men Plus Care, for a number of years now. And I just want to show something that if you want to know anything about sponsorships, there is something coming up this Wednesday that if you're interested, and it's only going to cost you, if you're in the US, $23.21, and in Canada, converted to Canadian currency, $30. I don't know what it would be euro any other countries. All right. So I'm not going to go any further. So I'm going to put this up for all of you to see live on the replay. So we're just going to put it up right now. Okay. So we're putting it up right now. Mario Armstrong, who between him and his wife have generated over $4 million US in sponsorship revenue over the last 5 years. They are having a brand sponsorship summit. I think it's the first of its kind, or very rare that this has been held. And it's all virtual. He and his wonderful wife and his team, most of his team are based in Baltimore. They're doing a virtual online event Wednesday, October 18, 2023. You're going to hear directly from brand executives, agencies, PR execs who hold the keys to brand deals. It's a virtual 3-hour conference for creators, coaches, podcasters, YouTubers, event organizers, influencers, authors, and experts with small niche audiences. So it's going to be featuring brands, PR execs, and agencies who hire creators. And there it is, Wednesday, October 18th, 5:02 p.m. to 8:02 p.m. The cost, $23.21 US. Let me say it again, $23.21. Here is, get your ticket now. Why attend? You're going to hear from brands like Wix, Capital One, Staples, FedEx, Target, Toshiba, Crayola, Zenni. Now, some of these, like all these brands are international brands, and probably the representatives are going to be from the United States, but the principles and the things that are going to be shared will be gold for you. Will be gold, right? So they're going to be discussing companies like Paramount, Capital One, Althea, Planet Fitness, Sandals Resorts, Nike, Hyundai, Amazon, and more. And creators will show how their small followings secured large brand deals. From pitching to negotiation, again, get your ticket now. So here are the speakers, the gentleman who's created and hosting this event, Mario Armstrong. Again, secured over $4 million in brand sponsorships from brands like Capital One, Ford, Wix, AT&T, Zenny, Target, and more. He is the founder of the Never Settle Academy. There's Casey Bennett, who's the CEO and founder of Maverick Mindshare, which deal with consumer agencies global. Chiffon Myers, who is CEO of a wedding company who deals with brands like Sandals Resorts and David Bridals. Sarah Doney, founder of YUB PR. It's a boutique public affairs firm that focuses on the revolving challenges of our clients with 15-year experience. And look who's here. ... So I am going to be part of this event. Yes, I'm going to be the only, well, I don't know if anyone else, but right now I know I'm going to be the only international representative. So I'm going to be on there. And here's the schedule. Keynote, small following creators, tuning small into big. That's the panel that I'm going to be on. Brand and PR execs panel, inside the minds of decision makers, fireside chat with an industry titan, bonus pitching session, pitch your idea. And the judges will assess it for brand sponsorships. Q&A session, your questions are insights, bonus VIP session, unlock long-term revenue, and then closing remarks. So also want to encourage, add Mario to your text. So text the word VIP to 810-2347. So there you go. Claim your spot now. And again, there's only 125 seats available. See that? 125 seats. Now the price for 23.21, they're gonna go fast. Right? So replays may be made available as a separate purchase after the event has concluded. So I told you I'm involved with it. Yes, I would go even if I wasn't involved with it. He has been very successful and helpful in me getting my brand deals and forwarding my opportunity to get brand sponsorship. So I'm going to encourage you to go. If you have any questions, you can get in contact. Say, is this guy legit? Yeah, he got me my deal. He helped me get my deal, and he's helped me many, many. That is it for that. So I'm going to put the link up for you. So there you go. Brand Sponsorship Summit. There are the details. There's the link. GetSponsorshipMoney.com, brand/brand-sponsorship-summit /2321 US, only 125 seats. If you have any questions, I see things are going on in the chat, no problem. I'm glad people are going, oh, okay. All right, so as we get through that, I told you there was a lot of stuff going on. All right, so let's get to it. So we have a new friend for the Morning Vibe on the show today. I've known him for a long time. Maybe some of you know his network, but you may not know him. There you go. You may not know him. So we're going to get to know him better. And also his network is putting on a big event coming up, but I'm going to let him talk about it. But it's coming up on Saturday, October 21st, 2023, 7 p.m. in Toronto. So we are going to bring up the man, the only Moses Bawa, President CEO of Silver Trust Media, also Afroglobal Television. How are you, sir, this morning? Great to have you.
I am well, thank you.
Good.
And Ryan are doing such an excellent job with this particular program, and very, very delighted to be on today.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you for taking the time to share with us today, because it's overdue. We should have had you on. But as I said to him before he came on, every time I see his dear wife, Patricia Moore, I say, Patricia, where's Moses? Oh, he's in this country. He's in that country. I said, we'll never get him on. We'll never get him on. But it's finally good to have you on. And what I'd like to do, first of all, with new friends on the platform, just like to get a little bit of your background, and we'll get a little bit background about Afroglobal. So can you share some of your background first with our family?
Yes, please. It's a pleasure for me to do so. I actually based right now here in the great city of Toronto, with my residence up in Richmond Hill and the studio, Afroglobal, being actually in East York, with our master control actually in Markham. So I'm a little bit all over the place in terms of operations. And then my dad actually originally from Uganda, East Africa. And my mother actually, interestingly, from South Sudan. And of course, the beautiful Patricia, from Nigeria, right? And then I have some of my best friends, from Jamaica, St. Kitts, Trinidad, and the US, the Philippines. So I'm Mr. International, if you want to call it like that.
Well, I'm glad you gave yourself that title, and I hope you wear it very well. So,
All right.
so how did you get from Uganda to Toronto?
So my journey has been quite an interesting one because I had actually left the motherland, to go to Ottawa. I went to Carleton University and I got a BA in film studies. And while doing that, I looked at what was going on television, in print media, and practically everywhere, and I did not like it because any representation of people of African descent was very negative. And if it was anything about the Caribbean, it's always the hurricanes, it's always, one thing or the other, for the most part, negative. And especially when it has to do with the people, aside from the resorts and things like that, which basically, is, targeted at the mainstream society to actually go to enjoy themselves and so on. But anything outside of those resorts, usually presented actually in ways that are improper. And then I looked at any representation of our communities, throughout North America and around the world as well, particularly urban communities and so on. And for the most part, I mean, if it's Africa, it's poverty, it's the struggle, it's this and that, and nothing constructive, positive, elevating, and so on. And yet we have so many success stories, and then I actually thought to myself that, look, we have to change this narrative. Because even our communities, there are so many achievers, who are kind of not in the spotlight, not elevated. And, it just really, for the most part, one young person who shot another one or things like that. So we wanted actually to make sure that this narrative is actually shifted. So that's how we started actually. I started the company Silver Trust Media. And this was way back. I'm going to actually kind of age myself or date myself, in that sense. But way back in 1996, that's when Silver Trust was established. By the year 2002, the Planet Africa brand took off with a television program on Omni TV. And then, of course, by 2016, we launched Afroglobal Television as a 24-hour TV network. I am pleased to actually share with everyone that it's right now actually a fairly major channel. It's on Rogers Cable, Bell 5, Telus, and Eastlink. In fact, throughout Atlantic Canada, we're on Eastlink, and in a package, actually, for those on cable, that's with BET, the Country Music Channel, and MTV, and of course you have Afroglobal. So the offering, things are actually continuing to improve and to get better. And our goal is actually to expand it to other places outside of Canada as well, particularly the United States and the Caribbean, and of course, Africa as well, with the major cable platforms, and satellite platforms such as DSTV or Star Times, which is actually one of the things that we so desire to do. And and one of the things that we then decided to do is to basically come up with an awards show in part because we actually came up with a youth mentorship program. And it's called the Crossover Mentorship Program. And we actually take young people and link them up with highly successful individuals in banking and, law enforcement, in education, and different sectors like that, even in entrepreneurship, right? So, and it was very difficult to identify, the success stories, that are out there. So then we decided actually to start the awards program. So every single year, we actually honor 16 individuals in leadership and enterprise and heritage, professional excellence. That would include, professions like accounting and, insurance and different entities like that. So that's how it has been, Dr. Vibe, and we're still vibing and vibing strong.
Well, look, you know what? I love that there were things I didn't know about you that you just shared. So I appreciate you feeling that you're in a safe embrace space to chat about that. We'll get to the award show in a moment, but I have some questions. First of all, how did you come up with the name Silver Trust?
Yeah. That's kind of really interesting because when I was actually thinking through about an ideal name, for a company, I actually thought that, okay, there's gold, there's diamond, there's all kinds of, precious metals and that sort of thing. And I came across this scripture in the Bible that talks about something being actually, refined 7 times, purified. And it is actually precious like silver, right? And then thought that, okay, silver, for someone to actually give it to you, even as a medium of exchange or to preserve assets and so on, there has to be a certain level of trust in it, right? So that's how I actually took the word silver and trust and combined it, as one to come up with the brand Silver Trust. And it has actually done us, very well. And Silver Trust Media overall actually does a lot. Presently, we actually not only does it back up the Afroglobal Television channel in terms of the productions and running the studio and some of the other things, but we also produce so many other programs for third parties. Right now, for example, there's a show called Arise, which is on Vision TV. That's channel 60. We actually produce for a ministry that has been on actually for, in fact, since 2004, actually on air. We do have, of course, the show on Omni Television, produced by Silver Trust Media. That's the Planet Africa show. We have a number of specific programs that are actually produced, not just for ourselves and for third parties and some syndicated, etc. In recent times, we also got into drama production. So we have our first ever dramatic production, called Omobela Palace, which is, and this is shot on celluloid, on film, actually. Our cinematographer is one guy actually who has an office here in Toronto and with a presence in Hollywood as well, and has worked on so many major productions. So Omabela Palace is basically the story of a Black woman who happened to marry an Italian guy. So the two actually have a daughter called Omobela. Omo in the Nigerian language of Yoruba actually means girl, and then Bella, it's in Italian, also means something similar. So when you put Omo Bella, that comes the name. So they actually run a beautiful restaurant that has an event space. So there's jazz, there's all kinds of performances there, and so on. So what happens, behind the scenes in the kitchen, whatever, the drama, different things that transpire within the restaurant. That's actually the story. And it's not just intended actually for telecast on Afroglobal, but potentially actually on Netflix, Apple TV and some of those other entities. And we are actually in conversation with some of those major platforms and then broadcasters, beyond our own channel as well. So, and then of course we publish several magazines. There is Destiny magazine, which targets actually mostly the faith or Christian community. We actually have Excellence magazine, which is actually associated with the Afroglobal brand. So anything about Black brilliance and Black excellence is actually showcased in Excellence magazine. And way back, in fact, it had been even spotlighted in the Toronto Star and some other platforms also, which is really great. And then we also published Diversity magazine, which subsequently was rebranded into Envision Canada. Some people in Toronto actually will probably remember the blue boxes across the GTA, where there were some Toronto Star publications at major intersections, subways, and so on. Diversity magazine used to be one of the publications inside those blue boxes, so that's how far we had actually grown and expanded. And then when we actually had the, Kevin Williams, the last president and CEO of General Motors Canada, a wonderful Black brother actually from the US, negotiations actually came along, and it was also distributed through GM dealerships across, the region as well. So, yeah, amazing things have happened. So, I guess to answer your question in brief, Silver Trust Media is into 3 areas: event production, print, broadcasting, and then an additional component, of course, is also digital media.
Well, if you want to talk about Black media in Canada, I think this is one of the people you want to chat to, because him and his beautiful wife have been in it for not a minute, an hour. So they've been in it. So thank you for sharing the empire. I just want to catch up with some comments here. Fitness IQ Cam says, ooh, Shirley J, the head of the Black Canadian Content Creators. Good morning. Shirley J says, congratulations, Dr. Vibe. Well, thank you so much. Hope, Shirley, you come to the event on Wednesday. Fitness like you guys, woo-wee. And also says, congratulations. Opal Inspired. Subscribe to her YouTube channel. Wonderful things going on there creative-wise. Says, good morning. Roger Dundas, co-founder of buyblacks.com, along with his beautiful wife, Camille, says, good morning, Moses. Divine Right from the DMV. All right, Washington, Baltimore area says good morning and happy Friday. Let's see who else we got here. We got some other comments, got some other things. Frequency Event Promotion goes, how am I, Dr. Vibe? I am Blackalicious. Thank you for asking. He also says, Moses, your work is acknowledged, highlighted, and needed. Ray McMillan of the McMillan Group. Good morning, folks. Congrats on your journey, Moses. Wow. Okay. I got to highlight. He has a question, but we'll get to it later on. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick little break, give Moses a little bit of break, because he shared a lot there. And I think he needs a few seconds of break time before we get back. So when we come back from the break, we're going to get, we'll find out the origin of the awards that are coming up on the 21st and some other things. And yeah, there are a few questions in the comments that people have for Moses. So we'll get back to that. So keep it locked. We'll be back in about 90 seconds. You're watching The Morning Vibe with Dr. Vibe and Moses. I'll just leave it Moses. All right. See you in a few seconds.
And that's what I feel like. You feel like you're the Harriet Tubman of the mind.
I am.
I feel like I'm I'm one of the Harriet Tubmans of intelligent Black people. Like, I want to liberate y'all from like being left behind and ignored and oblivion. Now, really, the rappers get all the attention. Seriously, does anybody else feel this way? Like ignorant Black people, they'll be all up, getting all the headlines on the Shade Room.
Overly sexualized Black folks.
Like the twerkers and the, just people that, don't always represent the best of us, the diversity, like people like Dr. Vibe. Like, everybody should know about people like Dr. Vibe. Dr.
Really
Vibe he's trying to do good work for Black people.
Dr. Vibe from Toronto. Good to see you, my brother. Dr. Vibe. Everybody follow Dr. Vibe. He has a great show. He's very good at what he does, and I have a lot of respect for him.
Okay, so let me hop into this. What's up, Dr. Vibe? How you doing? Everybody, if you see Dr. Vibe in the chat, everybody go follow the Dr. Vibe show. Dr. Bob is a real smart brother and a good human being. And I like the guy a lot, and he's very intelligent. And I think everyone should pay attention to what he's got going on. We got to shine the spotlight on the intelligent Black people out here that are really doing the good work. Don't just pay attention to the rappers and the celebrities. You know, a lot of these people are losers. Your true winners are your people in your community that are really having your back. You know, helping us to have stronger families and a stronger community. So Dr. Bob is in that category. So you might see the Dr. Bob show in this chat. If you see him, please go follow him. Okay. All right. So anyway.
All right. We are back and we are joined by a media star himself, Ryan Knight. Good morning, Ryan Knight. How was the walk? We can't hear you, Ryan. Okay, well, we'll wait for Ryan's audio to get going. Can you hear us now, Ryan?
Hey, the walk is always.
Okay, your internet is
Am I frozen?
Yeah, you are frozen. You may want to log out and log back in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is frozen, so I'm going to have him log out. Okay, so we'll come back. So, as always, want to hail up Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins, supporter of this platform, also a big supporter of their platforms. And just again, Dr. Alicia Watkins coming up this Wednesday, October 18th at 9 p.m. Trauma and the Black Family. So you can catch it on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel. Also want to say again, for those who didn't catch it earlier, Brand Sponsorship Summit hosted by Mario Armstrong, who between him and his wife have secured over $4 million of brand sponsorships in the last 4 or 5 years. I'm going to be one of the speakers during the event. The wonderful thing, it's 3 hours, 5:02 Eastern to 8:02 Eastern time, and there's only 125 seats available. That's it. That's all. And the cost is only $23.21. $23.21 US. So in Canada, it's about $30. $30 for all that knowledge. I think you may want to invest in that. I'm just saying, making a suggestion. Okay, we are back with Moses Bawa, CEO of Afroglobal TV. He's given some background, and we got to have Moses back for just talk about the state of Black media in this country, because him and his dear wife, who sits on a number of boards. So family, don't think they just do stuff for their own platform. They do stuff and add positive value to other people's platforms too. So just know that. I know that, if I'm not mistaken, Patricia sits on the board of the Real World Film Festival. She has involvement with that.
She's actually the chair of the Real World Foundation.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And is involved with a number of other entities as well. Anita International on the board, and on the board of also one of the educational institutions, that trains folks in media and so on. So it's quite busy.
and family, just realize they got kids too. Right? So
yeah. We got 2 boys and 2 girls, and
yeah,
at that end as well. Yeah,
exactly.
And like you said correctly, it's all. I actually was hearing Dr. Boyce Watkins speaking there about the importance of doing things in the community that elevate, right? And I think it's extremely important that we do everything we can to step up, and to make a difference. And that's why on our part as well, I really, really applaud people such as Stephen Ryan, through the ACBN organization, creating opportunities and doing everything possible to, to ensure that we have, pathways, to success. On our part, really, we also have a couple of social innovation initiatives on nonprofits, for that matter. One of them is really the Transformation Institute, which runs our youth mentorship program. And then in 2020, actually, I got connected actually with Dr. Julius Garvey, son of the Honorable Mosiah Garvey, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and we set up actually the Marcus Garvey Institute, which would actually put forward the principles and precepts of success, and that were espoused actually by his dad, Marcus Garvey. So a number of these opportunities are here, and we have so many people within the community who are a part of some of these initiatives, etc. And it's incumbent on us actually to continue to do better.
Excellent. So I've just turned on the Instagram live button, so we're broadcasting my face, my voice, and Moses's voice via Instagram. So for those who don't know, Moses is CEO of Afroglobal Television, and we're going to slide into talking about this event that's coming up on the 21st of Saturday, your Excellence Awards. Can you give us a little background on how that came to be?
Yeah, so the Excellence Awards Gala is happening this year, actually on Saturday, the 21st of October 2023, and this project is actually quite amazing. It's presented by the Afroglobal Television channel, and I'm actually pleased to actually say that this year is quite unique because we essentially have the command of HMCS York from the Royal Canadian Navy, who will be the MC. And that will be alongside Linda Osifo, who is an actress. She grew up right here in Toronto, actually, and then went back to Nigeria and became a fairly major breakout star there, hosting, TV programs, reality programs, and then, dramatic films as well that have been actually quite amazing. Now, in regards to the question that you asked as to how or when, this, project came to be, like I had indicated previously, the Excellence Awards program was actually really established so that we can, literally harvest role models, success stories, people who would be there to serve as mentors to young people. For many years now, we've been running the Crossover Youth Mentorship Program that involves youth from our community. Some, in fact, even from foster, from the foster care system. Sometimes it's really heartbreaking. I remember actually one year when we had, a number of young people who were actually sponsored to attend the awards gala. Most of them were stepping on a red carpet for the first time in their lives. And one particular one did not even have anything to wear. So we had to go out and buy a suit, a tuxedo actually for this kid. Who did not, have a connection to the real parents or anything like that. So these are the kinds of really good works that we do in the community through this. The genesis of it is such that, looking at what was on television, even print media, even listening to radio, it was very difficult to find successful people of African descent or Blacks. And by doing this, now we literally have hundreds and hundreds of people in banking, in technology, in entrepreneurship, in community service, and so on. So it has actually really served its purpose, very well. And this would not have been actually possible, Dr. Vibe, you were talking earlier about sponsorships and the importance of that and that kind of thing. We are really pleased that, for the last several years, we've had, RBC, we've had TD Bank, Ethiopian Airlines, and African Foods, Western University actually came on board this year for the first time as a sponsor. We've had, even Fortune 500 companies like EY, and PwC and so on coming on board as sponsors as well. And then aside from that, we've had some community partners as well, because this is really one of the finest stages, available in our community for our leaders, community leaders, and some to step on it as well. And and not only share information and, anything pertinent about their work, but then also be there and identified as role models, success stories as well, through their participation with us in making this happen. So that's how it has been, I remember actually way back, we were in Ottawa at the time before moving to Toronto, and our studio was on Bank Street, downtown Bank Street. you know, and the residence was on the Quebec side because it was a bit cheaper there. Can get a better place, you know, in Gatineau, you know, comparatively, and so we're actually in the kitchen and the living and moved on to the living room, sat down and began to actually sketch some things. This was actually in 2004. The same year when we arrived in Toronto, we launched the awards program. You know, initially it was called the Planet Africa Awards, but then it actually metamorphosed into the Excellence Awards gala presented by, you know, Afroglobal Television. The other thing that I just want to quickly mention is that last year we actually launched another initiative called the 100 Most Influential Black Canadians initiative. And that is actually an amazing initiative that, you know, has taken off and been received extremely well. Because each year for the Excellence Awards program, we only honor 16 people, right? Leadership, enterprise, science and technology, community, categories like that. But then some of the people whom we honored maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, they have done even greater things and all of that. So we decided to actually launch this particular initiative. And our goal, you know, is soon actually to be able to publish a book that would profile this, you know, those who are honored in the 100 most influential, so that we actually have, you know, them in place and fully recognized and so on. One thing that I just want to quickly mention is that aside from the broadcasting, the special events, we of course also do the publications, right? One thing that I would like to say is this. I remember, I think it was 2018, we were invited actually to Ottawa, right there in the center block of the Parliament building. We're having cocktails, conversations were going on. And I noticed someone walking through the crowd actually asking. And so then someone pointed at me, almost like to say, it's that guy. So this guy walked up to me and he said, "Hello, you're Moses Bawa?" I said, "Yes, I am." And then he said he was from the Prime Minister's office. I was like, okay, what's this about? And he said that, look, you know, the Prime Minister's office, the Prime Minister is actually responsible for appointing people to boards of parastatals like Canada Post and, you know, so many others, etc. And, you know, that they had been told that the person to talk to in terms of, you know, access to profiles, information, and that sort of thing in terms of the Black community is Mr. Bawa. So that's why. And I was like, wow, right here in this building, Parliament, it was really incredible. And that's how we decided actually to move things forward in a number of areas as well, particularly in recognition of you know, the fact that sometimes you do your thing and you never know actually what is being noticed or recognized. You know, and that's why, in fact, when we did our Black History Showcase in February this year, actually, we got a video from the Prime Minister and basically calling Patricia and myself by name, you know, and expressing gratitude for what we are doing. And when you see some of these kinds of things, you know that it's good. The only challenge, you know, like you said, you know, Dr. Vibe earlier, is that a lot of these things that you do, sometimes the resources are not there to match the vision, you know, so it's a stretch, and sometimes it can put a strain on your family, you know, which can be really hard. So you have to just make sure that you balance. And one of the gentlemen that I really, really admire in our community is Ryan Knight, you know, the fact that he actually had to go out and walk, you know, his kids to school and then subsequently come here. That's what a real gentleman, a dad, you know, should always do. So we have to actually do our best to split, you know, our energies, you know, and make sure that sufficient is allocated to take care of our families as well.
Wonderful. Ryan, are you with us? You have to unmute yourself. Ryan, can you hear us?
How's that? Are you hearing me now?
We're hearing you.
Is that better?
We can hear you're frozen, but we can hear you. Okay, there. Well, it's okay. It's not
And
bad.
again, thank you, Moses. One thing that I wanted to ask around. Yeah. Okay. So, what do you feel comes like after the Excellence Awards? You mentioned, hey, the Prime Minister mentions you by name, yet the resources don't really follow. So, what would you want to see resource-wise supporting Black media? Dr. Vibe and I talk a lot about what are the resources out there for Black media, and we'll hear talk, but not really a lot of action. So, what would you want to see really to support the work that you do?
That's really one of the most important things that needs to be looked at. And at one point, we had reached out actually to the Prime Minister, who were actually funneled through even as far as the Privy Council, which is one of the most the key organs of government, and that went on subsequently to the CRTC because the principal concern was, broadcasting at the time. And then conversations looked to the Minister of Canadian Heritage. So subsequently, we had a major conversation with the Chief of Staff, to the Minister, and the lead senior policy advisor, in terms of broadcasting for the government of Canada was actually on that conversation as well. And it was all about the fact that Black media really needs to be elevated. Sometime back, we had actually come up with the Black Media Association, which basically I think we need to rekindle, for us to connect together. Extremely, open to presenting it, calling just a general meeting, sitting down, having discussions about how to proceed with it, forming perhaps, a board or something like that, so that we have one entity that would advocate for print, digital, broadcasting, media, and that sort of thing, because the need is very, very, very significant. One of the things that Ryan, you and I actually had talked briefly about some time back was the fact that even as we now have, funding, let's say, for Black entrepreneurship, through the many organizations across the country that are being actually funded, are they able to maximize their capacity, to reach out to every one of us who has a business or who has a dream to start a business? Probably not, And then obviously one could just use the mainstream established sort of media or platforms and so on, but will that reach everyone? Will that be able to capture the imagination of the person who is out there? And many of our people are still unplugged, not just, cable and all those kinds of things, but in fact, one of my best friends, he's not on Facebook, he's not on Twitter, he's not. I said, how do you survive? But guess what? He's a really serious business guy. So and that means we need so many ways and avenues to be able to communicate and to get things going. So you're right. Things really need to be worked out and enhanced. And we also need to try to see if we can, build bridges and work out arrangements whereby, productions such as this one, can be enhanced and reworked and maybe reformatted, and made available on television as well, because you see even down in the US, big shows like the Revolt show or the and many others, they're actually available online, but they're also available on conventional television, so that you're able to reach some of those people, especially the older ones who are not on smartphones and so on, so they can actually, participate in what is going on as well. So that requires a certain degree of partnership or relationships that need to be kind of worked out. And but aside from that, in terms of funding or financing, entities like these, it's also really about working out relationships and being creative, because you have so many of the organizations that are actually potentially funded, and and all of these funding sort of things, there are budget lines, for marketing, from communications and things like that. if there is any way to actually have arrangements or conversations where some of those resources can be allocated to media that's actually within, I think it could really help, as well. But I'm pleased to say that we've had businesses in our community that have been there, almost since day one, sponsoring and supporting and so on. That has also paid off because they get back the return on their investment, which actually continues to power the business to go forward.
Okay, got a question here. I want to make sure that we get to Moses, but want to shout out Tim Frey. Good morning, Tim Frey. Hope you're doing fine. Shirley J of the Black Canadian Content Career says, thank you to all of you, Dr. Vi, Brian, and Moses. You're doing a great job in our community. We received that. And question from Ray from the Macmillan Group. For Moses, what would you say has been the catalyst to your growth and focus over the years? And how much of it possibly attributed to your upbringing in Uganda?
Okay. So let me actually, first of all, give a shout out to Tim Frey, who made a comment there. And I know that he has had quite an experience, especially over the last 1 year or so, having lost his brother. So my bro, condolences, and hoping that the family is continuing to go forward strong. I actually had a similar experience, actually. Last year, August, 12th, my only sibling, my sister, actually, the Honorable Jessica Ario, passed away of cancer, and it was a very, very difficult, experience. And we had actually taken her from Uganda to India, and then from India to the US, in Houston, Texas, where unfortunately she passed on. But then, just a side note, back home in Uganda, and one of the reasons why I travel a lot is my sister and I had set up an FM radio station called Radio Amani Limited, 89.1 FM. And the radio station is it's really big, in terms of its reach. So it's actually in the northwestern part of the country. So the signal reaches South Sudan, the Congo, and of course Uganda as well. So and it kind of is a segue to the point that you said, in terms of how my upbringing, how that has played out in terms of enabling me to do what I'm actually involved with doing. It was quite an interesting experience, growing up. My dad was actually a civil servant, police officer. My mom actually, stay at home and would be doing some business things as well, which really helped. But then, I've had the opportunity, the privilege, of course, to live with uncles and aunties and all of that. Because of some of the challenges of the time, it was really difficult. Sometimes, even where to live, how to live, and so on. For some very long periods of time, you may be with one relative or the other. So those influences also affect you in terms of how you grow. So that's how it's kind of, played out. I think there was actually some statistics, undertaken that probably the most entrepreneurial people in the world might actually be Ugandans, if not Nigerians or Jamaicans.
The Jamaicans will challenge that. We'll see.
So everybody does something that they have to sell, hustling,
Yes.
right? So whether it's agricultural products that they have to sell, or someone has a spare parts, establishment and things like that. So it is really, interesting. And like I said initially, coming to Canada, going to Carleton University, pursuing this degree in film studies, while pursuing that, looking at how things were really not good in terms of the presentation or representation of people of African descent in the media. That's when I decided actually to get started with Silver Trust, right? And none of this would have actually, led to where we are at now had it not been because of the incredible contributions of the amazing, my beloved Patricia Baby Mawa, right? extremely hardworking and so on. And the good thing is that her background, you know, because I am from Uganda, East Africa, but she's from Nigeria, West Africa, right? So she was involved with the media there before. She had a daily talk show, you know, Conlin program, you know, on conventional television. So you can imagine actually what that means live, you know, and several other kinds of, you know, projects as well. So I had started a company in way back 96, actually. So by the year 2000, that's when she came to the country. And then, you know, the following couple of years, you know, things, you know, developed. And not only did it develop on the business side, but then it so happened on the personal side, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how it played out. And I was so privileged to have met actually, you know, Ted Rogers, you know, who was actually present in terms of giving us the window of opportunity to have our show Planet Africa on the Omni Television, you know, platform, and then that continued to expand, to grow, and subsequently by 2016 we were actually able to establish, you know, the Afroglobal Television channel. And as I indicated, right now it's on Rogers Cable, it's on Bell, it's on Tellus, it's on Eastlink, you know, and we're in negotiation also to have it on Shaw Cable as well, which is now a part of Rogers Media, and then the desire is really to take it to other parts of the world as well, particularly the US, the Caribbean, and then the continent of Africa.
All right, so the IG live portion is now going to stop. If you want to catch the rest of this conversation live, go to the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel or watch the replay. As always, remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. So I'm just taking a look here. Tim Frey says, thank you, Moses. So he hails you up, Moses.
Yeah.
Moses, what do you want people to leave with after this upcoming event on October 21st? What do you want them to leave with in their mind and in their hearts?
I would like to basically emphasize that what they would leave with in their minds and in their hearts will be what they will discover at the gala. So they gotta come. You know, take out time to attend this year's Excellence Awards Gala. It is going to be spectacular, you know. And we went actually to a venue the other day to basically look at, talk to the technical people, lighting, sound, all that, the video content, you know, it's much of that is actually currently being produced. And we also really had the privilege of connecting with our MC, you know, Captain Paul Smith of the Canadian Armed Forces, you know, commander of HMCS, you know, York, who will be literally commanding the ship. You know, that's the awards gala that day, you know, as MC, right?
Yes.
And alongside Linda Osifo, the award-winning actress. If I may say this, you know, Linda Osifo was actually a part of our youth mentorship program way back, right? And now having really become this major star, including Desperate Wives of Africa, you know, and major films, you know, TV series, and then she's also hosted a game show and so on. Now, after this event, I guess to an answer as a part of the answer to your question, my hope is that everyone will actually be truly inspired and encouraged that it is possible, right? In fact, last year we actually had Honorable Greg Fergus, who was the MC of this same gala, right? And now he's the speaker, you know, of the Parliament of Canada, right? And when you do good, when your heart is in the right place, when you are able to reason, you know, and to figure out solutions to issues, to things, doors can actually open up for you, you know. So let's really be focused. Let's be united, and let's see the best that we can actually get to do. And I just want to say that for the gala, the tickets are actually available on Ticketmaster. Again, it's actually next week, Saturday. That's the 21st of you know, October. Red carpet starts at 7 o'clock, and you know, the award show at 8. It's going to be at the Meridan Arts Centre, 5040 Yonge Street. And the tickets are just 120 plus fees, right? And there's going to be actually refreshments and food actually served, at the gala. So just come and enjoy, and it will be a beautiful one.
Excellent. Before we let you go, because I know with wife, 4 kids, global empire, how far in advance do you have to plan for this every year?
This is quite interesting because I say that the next gala's planning starts before the current one is activated. Because, it's really interesting because we have recipients of the awards that are actually nominated, and not all of them are actually recognized in the same year. So some of them are put forward to the next one, right? And then additional nominations actually happen throughout the rest of the year. And when we actually have conversations with our sponsors and so on, sometimes we actually endeavor to strike multi-year deals so that, we don't have to have additional conversations for the next one, right? So the planning and everything happens, I would say, before the one for this year is actually done, the process for the one starts,
Wow. And how crazy is the voting process?
It is really tight.
Understand that.
It is extremely tight. And one thing that we really pride ourselves about, this awards program is that every time you look at it, right, you will realize that, there's a good number of women, there's a good number of men, right? And then there's a pretty good balance between the folks from the continents, continental, let's say, Africans, and then let's say the Caribbean Africans and all that as well. So it's almost like a science because we are a truly representative organization when it comes to our community. That's why the name, Afroglobal basically means if you are Afro-Jamaican, Afro-Brazilian, Afro-American, Afro-Canadian, you are part of the Afroglobal family. And it's really one of those very, very unique organizations, that does such incredible work in our community and advances us, as equitably as it is reasonable.
Well, Moses, I want to thank you and Patricia and your family for everything you have done, and your team, everything you have done, are doing, and will be doing. People, it's up on the screen here, the link to read about it, and more importantly, purchase tickets. And also, if you want to know more about Afroglobal in general, there's a website address, YouTube and Facebook, Afroglobal Television, Instagram at Afroglobal TV, X, formerly known as Twitter, at AfroGTV. So Moses, as always, I like to say, make sure you and the family and the team remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And we need to have you come back and talk about your own story, because you just gave us a little appetizer. There's a story there, my man. There's one day I'm looking to see the Patricia and Moses story on the Afroglobal network.
Yeah, in fact, that reminds me about how in 2013, we actually got a phone call from Atlanta, and it was actually from the CNN headquarters to say that, look, we want to do a story on you guys. We've heard what you're doing over there in Canada. I'm like, what? I've never seen actually CNN come to Canada even to do a story on the Prime Minister or anything like that. And they say that they were actually sending a crew, to come and do this. So they came to our studio, went to our home in Richmond Hill, and all that, and followed us for a couple of days. That resulted into a half-hour television special that was broadcast on CNN worldwide, right? It's still actually available on YouTube, I believe, and looking at that, it's really incredible. And like you mentioned, really, none of these things can be done by an individual. You need a team, and we're extremely lucky and blessed, in fact, to have amazing people who have worked with us over the years. many who are actually involved even currently in our print projects, broadcast projects, and so many others too. And I would like to say that if you're out there, you would like to be involved, maybe as a volunteer for the awards program, or you have skills or talents as an editor, camera person, or writer, or anything like that, please get in touch, and we'll then be able to grow together.
All right. Thank you so much. Remember to give yourself grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and look forward to chatting with you, Patricia, and the team very soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yeah. All right. There we go. Mr. Ryan, how you doing? Okay. Ryan is having some difficulties here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Ryan off screen because his internet seems to be not behaving today. All right. So yeah, we lost Ryan again in the back room. So that's no problem. So thank you everybody for checking out today live on replay. Again, here's a link for the awards, afroglobaltelevision.com/awards. That's where you can check out more information and hopefully you can attend. So before we leave today, just some reminders, some program announcements coming up for the next few days. Tomorrow night, State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and Lala. You know they're going to be talking about the Israeli-Hamas war. It's officially a war now, definitely. And also they'll be talking about what's going on in the U.S. House of Representatives. Some crazy things going on there, really crazy. And right now, nothing's getting done in federal government in the United States. Nothing. It's at a standstill. So that's another thing. This Sunday, not State of Things, Black Canada Talking was Cesar, Nadima Musa, and myself. And Cesar will be giving a lot of different commentary from his Black Canadian lens, Afro-Black Canadian lens, about things that are going on in Canada and in the world. Okay, let's see if we can get Ryan back. Ryan, are you with us? Okay. Your internet is
my internet is going.
Okay, you know what, Ryan? I'm just gonna pull Ryan off because we're almost finishing. We'll talk. Him and I will talk after the show is done. So, Black Canada Talking this Saturday, 5 p.m. with Cesar, Nadima Musa, and myself. This Monday coming up, Carolyn Nicole from Energy Shack Juice Bar talking about the diabetic pandemic. Can catch it where you're watching the Morning Vibe right now, and especially in our environment, people look like us. Diabetes is such a high thing, and if you have diabetes, it leads to other things that are not good health related. Also, this Wednesday evening, 9 p.m., Dr. Alicia Watkins talking about trauma and the Black family. Trauma and the Black family. So catch that on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel. And I mentioned at the beginning, I mentioned in the middle, if you have any interest about sponsorships, Brand Sponsorship Summit happening Wednesday, October 18th from 5:02 Eastern to 8:02 Eastern. There is a link. So especially on Wednesday, I got a very positive, productive day because I'm going to be part of that. I'm on the first panel, and then I'm going to be having a live conversation with Dr. Alicia Watkins. $23.21 US. Only 125 seats available. For that price, if that doesn't sell out, I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. And I'll just, again, show the page for it. And let's do this. So just let me get the page up for you, and you'll be able to see it. So here we go. Brand Sponsorship Summit. There it is. So get your tickets now. Virtual, 3 hours. Get great knowledge from people who have succeeded. Again, brands, PR execs, and agencies who hire creators. Even though most of the people, except one, which is me, is going to be based in the US, some fundamental things that you want to know if you're into. Because if I know lots of people do the loans and the grants thing and they don't get them, I'll share from my personal experience. I enjoy the sponsorship process more. and the grants and loans. But if you want to find out why my lens is like that, you get in touch with me. But brands that are going to be there: Wix, Capital One, Staples, FedEx, Target, Toshiba, Crayola, Zenni. The host of this event, Mario Armstrong, he has brand deals. He has brand deals with Wix. Funny story: Mario wears glasses. Wix is a glasses company. He got a 3-year, 6-figure deal with Wix. Hello, he's done work with Capital One. He's done work with Staples. He's done with FedEx. He's done with Target. He's done with Zenni. He knows, and the people he brings on board know what they're talking about. So, like I said, speakers: Mary Armstrong, Casey Benedict, CEO and founder of Maverick Mindshare; Safon Myers, who does business with brands like Sandals Resorts and David's Bridals; Sarah Doheny, founder of YUBPR, a boutique public affairs firm; your guy here, Dr. Vibe, who has an ongoing brand relationship deal with Dove Men Plus Care. Here's a schedule: keynote, successful small following creators. That's the panel I'm going to be on, turning small into big. And I'm just on the low end. Successful, brands executive panel, fireside chat with an industry titan, bonus pitching session, pitch to win. You'll be able to pitch judges, and they'll assess the potential for brand sponsorships. There's a Q&A session. Your questions are insights. Bonus VIP session, unlocking long-term revenue, closing remarks. So if you want to get updates on things, send the letters VIP to 917-810-2347. That's Mario's text message channel. He's always sharing good stuff. And finally, 125 seats available. That's it, family. I'm going to be pumping this out on this show, State of Things, Black Canada Talking, and Monday's Morning Vibe. Plus, I'm going to do some Instagram posts, and I'm seeing if I can grab Mario for 15 minutes to probably do an IG Live. So get your ticket now, and then replays will be made as a separate purchase after the event has concluded. So if you have any questions about the event, feel free to ask me. I have a very good business relationship with Mr. Armstrong, so I would suggest you may want to check it out. He has been instrumental in my business and personal development. So I thank him and his wife, Ms. Nicole, immensely. So that is it for today. Excellent conversation. Moses rocked the house. Unfortunately, Ryan couldn't make it. So as always, you can catch replays of the Morning Vibe at the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and Facebook, Afro Caribbean Business Network, Facebook and YouTube, and the Ryan Oneil on YouTube and LinkedIn. And that's it. So what's everyone up to on the weekend? I hope you get a chance if you're around 9 o'clock tomorrow night, 5 p.m. on Sunday. More Dr. Vibe, more epic conversations. All right. As we exit today, thank you so much for watching live on the replay. We've got other things coming up. Like I said, haven't been on in a week. So that was one surprise we had today about the sponsored conference. I'm working on something where myself and Ryan, will need your time to do something to make the Morning Vibe Show better. So as always, I'm going to end off with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace, and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. Walk good. And if you're watching this on a Friday and you do have a weekend, enjoy it. See you Monday or over the weekend.